It looks a little bit like that, yeah.
Yes, X-ray.
Yeah, exactly.
That's not making me feel better. I want to go back to hairdryers.
Yeah, sorry.
Hairdryers,
Hairdryers,
warm,
hairdryers.
comforting, send you to sleep. Yeah. I always fall asleep in the hairdressers. Probably barbers in my case, let's be honest. Right. And Elspeth, Group Executive Creative Director, M&C Saatchi. Fantastic. I copied it down from the email correctly. What are the chances? Yeah. And also ask you, why aren't there more women here? Is that all right? Well, not just Ken and Cam, but the ad industry. But
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's any.
I think of the second. We haven't. It's not been a policy, but I think you're only the second one we've had on the sofa.
Surprise, yeah. It's a relative kind of representation though of the industry.
Yeah.
When I came to London, I actually thought there'd be more female CDs.
Right.
There isn't.
Hair good, yeah. Looking beautiful? Yeah, always. Right. I'm here at Cannes with Elspeth Lynn, who is the Group Executive Creative Director of M&C Saatchi. Elspeth, hello, how are you?
Very well, thank you.
It's the last day of Cannes, or it certainly is for me.
Yes, actually second last day officially.
Second last day. But how's it been? What themes have emerged? What have we learned, do you think?
Well, I think overall it's been a fantastic Cannes. I think for their 60th anniversary celebration, they've had some terrific people, terrific speakers. And I've been lucky enough, to be on the jury this year. And I think there's been a number of things that we've been able to learn from it. One is that anyone can win at Cannes. I think what happened a number of years ago in Cannes is that there were certain countries, including the UK, that really dominated the awards. But actually now all the other countries have really begun to catch up. So you can't actually tell where a piece of work comes from. So as Thomas Friedman said, the world is flat, and I think that actually has happened now at Cannes.
And you were on one of the juries yourself, the press jury?
I was fortunate enough to be on the press jury, and I think it's very easy to say that one comes to Cannes to be inspired. If you're in this industry, this is where you see the best of the best. But actually, what it really is for me is a chance to do my homework, because on a day-to-day basis, you're so busy working on the clients you already have, you don't get a chance to see what's going on around the world. So it's wonderful, actually, to be able to sit in a dark room in the bowels of this building for 5 days and just get a complete breadth and depth of what I did, which was the press category, and to really see all the different kinds of approaches that people take, and then why something surfaces to the very top.
And can you give us one example of one piece of work that's really impressed you this time around?
Yes. Apart from the Grand Prix, one piece of work that I really loved was the Duracell campaign. And I don't know if you had a chance to see it, but it's very simple. It's just the top part of the ad is black, the bottom part of the ad is copper, and it just has a plus and minus, as batteries do. And it just talked about the plus being that your son can use PlayStation for hours. The minus is that your son can use PlayStation for hours. And it was so kind of brutally simple, which is something we really believe in at M&C Saatchi. And I just thought that was the simplest, most minimal ad you could possibly do. And that, amongst a number of others that we awarded gold, were very encouraging in terms of what can be done with press, which is sometimes seen as one of the more traditional mediums.
And you said before, I think this was in relation to the Gangnam video, that this had 1.6 billion views, and I think you said, well, this is proof that we can have a bit more fun in the industry. Let's lighten up a bit. Maybe that's Duracell, possibly a good example of that. But.
Yes, I agree. I think what's happening online and socially now is so fascinating, and I think the more the advertising industry looks at that and goes, actually, what do people care about? What do people watch? What do people share? And I think what is being demonstrated is that actually, we can have a lot more fun. And so when you look at one of the big winners this year, which is Dumb Ways to Die, I mean, that is the most playful, lovely way to talk about, not having an accident. And I don't think, it'd be very easy to say, oh, well, we shouldn't talk about death. We can't have things happening to these little creatures. It's being too flip about it. But then you see it executionally, and it's work like that that helps us know where we can get to in the future. Then that work will give birth to different other ideas that will happen this year that are just as playful, because it gives us, I think, courage and determination that actually you can talk about this in a certain way that's maybe unexpected.
And Dumb Ways to Die, that was the Australian Railways sort of warning advert.
Yes,
that's
right.
Public service ad.
Yes.
Two things really I wanted to ask you about. One was this kind of tension between data technology on the one hand and creativity and storytelling on the other. That seems to have been a thing that's run throughout Cannes, and the fear that maybe we're spending too much time thinking about technology and not enough time about the basics.
Well, and the industry, as you know, is radically changing, and I think it's really important for advertising agencies and creative people to understand the role of technology and innovation. So there's no question about that. But as George Lois just said a couple of hours ago, you know, the name of the game is creativity, it's not technology. And I think he said that, so even though he's very, you know, he's old school in his approach, I think he is right. And that there has to be about the insight and the idea and the heart before it can be about the technology. The technology simply enables us to do ideas we couldn't have done before, and it allows us to get them out there in ways we couldn't have before, but it still ultimately has to be about the creativity, which I think is an important message. But again, the industry is changing, and so a lot of agencies still don't know how to tackle technology, so they have to do that, but at the same time, not lose the initial purpose of what we do, which is the idea.
And the body form response app, which you know is another one that you've praised in the past, but that's a good example of using technology as a spoof ad in the sense when completely viral, went crazy. But
well, exactly. You look at that piece of film, and you can tell they didn't really spend a lot of money on it. It doesn't have extravagant production values, but it has a really well-written script, and it's beautifully and perfectly delivered by the women in the spot, and I think, again, that's an example of talking about a category in a way we don't necessarily expect. So as Dumb Ways to Die did it, Bodyform did it, talking about feminine hygiene. And who would have thought you could have put something online about that category and have so many people be interested? Well, it's all about the idea behind it, not the technology, but the idea and what the message is.
And the other theme I wanted to ask you about, it was women at Cannes and the lack of women we've seen at Cannes. Is that a reflection of the industry as a whole?
Yes, I think I was lucky enough on the jury. We had 4 women on our jury, which is actually quite unusual. Usually you might have one kind of woman, 2 women. It does represent the percentage of women at very senior levels, though, in the industry in general, which is unfortunate to me. Do I wish there were more women creatives at that very top level? Absolutely. I feel very proud that I happen to be doing that. And there does need to be more, and therefore the representation of women at Cannes is reflective of what actually exists out there.
What can be done to change it, do you think? I mean, is it reflective of the lack of women coming in at the industry at the bottom, or is it the fact that they sort of what do you think?
Well, if you walk around here and you look at all kind of the young people that are here, you'll notice that there's actually a lot of women here. They're just not the ones who are up on stage. They're not the ones that are the ECDs. They're not the ones that are on the jury. So I think we're getting the influx of women into the industry, but something's happening on that journey in the industry. For me, I believe you only need one hero. So when I was getting into advertising, I didn't need 20 women to inspire me. There actually weren't 20 women. There was one woman. And she was the one that I thought, you know what, if she can do it, I can do it too. So I think any young woman who's getting into the industry or is considering getting into the industry should find that one woman that can help them, that can mentor them, that can inspire them, that there's absolutely no reason why they can't. And I don't think the industry is stopping women from doing it. I don't believe anyone's ever stopped me, but I do believe I've been very determined to get there and be determined to have a role where I can really oversee a number of creative people and help lead the creative charge at the agency I'm at.
And who was that woman, I have to ask?
Her name is Marlene Hoare, and she was, as you can tell by my accent, I lived in Canada for many years. And Marlene Hoare was the Chief Creative Officer at JWT for years and years, and she began, I believe, in the 70s and had that role into the 80s. And when I used to read industry magazines, she's the only woman, literally the only woman that appeared, but that was enough for me. I thought, if she can do it, I can do it too.
Great, okay, well maybe you'll be that woman too. So,
well, that would be lovely.
Elspeth Lynn, thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
That was great. Thanks,
Good.
Elspeth.
That was so enjoyable.
Well, you're very kind.
No, I like the way you ask questions, and you made it very easy to respond to them.
Oh, well, thank you very much. There's more feedback we need like this. Yeah, go on. Were you recording? Yeah. But I think having said that, of course. Yeah. We're away, right. Still, yes, right. Elspeth Lynn, thank you very much.
Very welcome.
You all right? Fantastic.
Thank you.
Oh, we had a couple of stills and then